hazardous waste. And this basically represents the effort that's been underway over the last few months by Mary Lou and Dean to eliminate that inventory. That inventory was in the X326 building generally. And so our objective has been to eliminate that inventory. See some of it there on the right over there. And this is where we stand today. So you can see over those years, but specifically within the last 4 months, there's just been an amazing effort to disposition as much as we possibly can. Bottom line, we're going to be dragging all over the place with us. We wanted to get it and disposition it before we left the building. So this is a before and after, just an amazing job of shipping hazardous waste. And so our inventory is, again, we continue to generate it as we start taking down the buildings. But in general, we've greatly reduced our current inventory. Next one, OSDWF construction. Again, you can see the cover system here. You can talk to the guys later. Let's move on today. This is obviously backups. Our backup, that's an aerial view of the site. You guys probably have driven by it. That's not only about a 300-acre area that's been cleared in anticipation, the on-site disposal facility itself that you'll hear about, and was part of the remedy decisions, is about 5 million cubic yards. Obviously, it's built to accommodate the 1.4 or so million cubic yards of demolition debris. But in order to place that debris, in order to ensure the integrity of the cap, you've obviously got to compact soil around that demolition debris. And so the ratio that we know we need is somewhere between 2.4 and 2.6 times. So every peak times the amount of debris. So if you got 1.2 to 1.4 million cubic yards, multiply that times 2.4 to 2.6 and start figuring how much soil we need. About 3 million yards. And hence, that's what brought us back to what Joel talked about earlier, is consolidation of the landfill component on the site to give us the soil that we have to have in order to bury the demolition debris progressively as we bring down the building. So, completed work. So we're out there today trying to spend the money that we get. Obviously, it's not been necessarily the funding levels that we wanted for this project, but it's still coming to us. And what we want to show is maximum performance and maximum progress against that. So what have we been doing? Obviously, the clearing the land, you saw the picture of that. The firing range, D&D. Sediment pond. So if you've driven down our access road, you see on the left-hand side a large pond that's been constructed. I tell these guys it's their fishing pond that they're putting out there by their trailers, but in reality, it's simply a sediment pond for just that. As we do the excavation in that 300-acre area, there's going to be a lot of sediment drained by the 45 inches of rain that fall average in the Ohio area. And so that picks up sediment, and that's got to be detained before it goes into the local creeks. It has nothing to do with contamination control or anything to do with waste placement. It's simply part of the construction process. It would go away when the cell is closed. Raw water line installed. We have to have dust control as we place waste, and obviously we need to be able to decon. If we bring out a truck that's contaminated, we need to be able to decon it, wash the wheels, and also we need to be able to supply our construction trailer guys, the guys that are out in the trailers with water, and maybe sometimes we'll get them toilets, but that's spoiling them too much at this time. Completed work, we have installed fencing. In the end, this final structure will have a fence around it. It is a regulatory requirement. We're going to have about 16,000 lineal feet. We put in 7,700 based upon what the excavations we've done at this point. So we got quite a long way to go, but right now we have as part of the phase of getting some of it done. And then construction trailers, you go out there today, those guys are now occupied in some construction trailers, so our guys are right out at the cut face of this job where they need to be, watching over day to day. So it's right outside their trailer. They can live and breathe every minute of their life. They're going to be focused on getting that thing built properly. Upcoming work, what we're going to do this year, again, we're going to do the final tie into the trailers and actually give those guys toilets. As you drive into our site, there is potential congestion and the concern for safety for our workers out at the site, so we're going to widen the road at that location basically for the safety of our workers and for the workforce. And so there'll be a widening of that road coming up here this year. Water filling station, again, dust control, filling up trucks so we can spread water to keep the dust down as you're filling up the facility. There are specific regulations on that. And then build another sedimentation pond, again, for supporting the construction effort that's going to occur. Next one, environmental remediation. Talk about it, we got the booth back here to that, so we got quite a bunch of undertakings. Obviously, this is focused on the environmental media, soil, sediments, groundwater, and the cleanup. Also, these guys run the environmental monitoring program. We monitor, essentially all media, all airborne releases from the site. We monitor streams. We monitor discharge points from the site. Monitor soil direct radiation. It's monitored and reported each year on the potential impacts of this facility on the surrounding community. And so, part of their obligation, obviously, is cleanup. And we talked about there was about 200 acres of landfills and plumes on the site, about 160 acres of plumes themselves. Each one of them has some type of an active remediation underway. Each one of them, the contaminant that's in the ground is trichloroethylene and ethane, and that is TCE, and the TCE is a degreasing solvent that was used in the 50s and 60s. It was, was used pretty generously. Wasn't known to be a significant hazard, and so as a result, it was put into some of the landfills. Those landfills are not to today's standards. They leaked, got into the groundwater, and so we have plumes that are at the site that are associated with it. So our job is to, right now, we're pumping and treating generally. There are some other technologies that we use that the guys back at the booth can talk to you about, but we've been focused on removing some of that source from the aquifer. 294 pounds has been removed from the aquifer. How many gallons do we have treated there in order to get that? So it's very hard to get TCE out of the soil, and especially to get any flushing. We have a very tight formation of soil here, so it's not very hard, not very easy to do. We have a relatively shallow formation, and so that's part of the formula is, okay, are we going to pump and treat this for hundreds of years, or as part of the remedy perhaps to go out and dig this up and use that for soil and bury the material? That's where we went. That's what Joel talked about a little bit is let's look for an opportunity to consolidate those landfills and use the soil from those plumes as the material that we will use to bury the debris. Eliminate the source term, eliminate the plume forever. And so since it's amenable to that simply because it's shallow. Environmental monitoring, again, we talked about that. Demonstrate that there's no impacts or minimal impacts on the surrounding community. And again, our guys can talk to you about what we monitor and what the results of that are. Next one. Rainwater. I think everybody recognizes, and you've probably read many articles that have been put in all the different papers of our dilemmas with funding. This is a godsend and this is a curse. All right, so the bottom line here is there was quite an inventory of uranium that was left over from the processing era. That was natural uranium, meaning that it was at 0.71%, it was in a gaseous form. The decision was made, since it was a viable commercial product, to start selling that. We call that barter. We submitted an invoice to the Department of Energy for services rendered. They pay us in uranium. We go on the commercial market and sell it, get reimbursed, and we fund the project. We've got about over 60% of the funding of this job, almost 70% of the funding of our individual part of the project has come through barter. And to this point in time, we have, like I said, more than $1 billion. It's actually about $1.145 billion. You know the number? How much dollars have gone across the books in order to, that have come through the barter operations. And what we're basically doing is taking inventory material today out in our facilities. You can see the little picture over there. We have facilities that are called the 344 facility, and it's a relatively hazardous operation, and so the level of training is very significant. Tim Poe is here somewhere, and he'd be available in the back of the room to talk about this operation. But essentially, we take it from the old cylinders, which are thin-walled cylinders, which are not conducive for transport or sale, and we transfer that material into thick-walled cylinders. That sounds easy? It's not, all right? So we transfer that into thick-walled cylinders, and we make that available for sale. And that's the general process that we're going through. And there's only a certain amount that we're allowed to sell per year based upon a secretarial determination that comes out every other year. So this year, it's 1,600 metric tons. To date, we have sold about 35,000 metric tons has been sold to get that 1.14 billion. Our biggest issue right now is the price. All right, we started this 5 years ago. We were getting $121 a metric ton. We sold at a low about a month ago at 53. It's now rebounded to about 63. So it's bouncing around, but that decay has been some of the dilemma that we've had on funding, is because it's an unpredictable level. The Department of Energy is trying to anticipate it, but they have to set their budgets 2 years in advance. So no one knows what the market conditions are going to be. I don't know what it's going to happen next week, much less 2 years from now. And that's been a lot of the dilemma we've had with all the funding up and down situation. And I'd like to leave with, I appreciate everybody's support to this project for helping me pursue that funding. We got a great group of people out at the site working for us. We're about almost 1,900 strong. 95% of our workforce is from the 4-county area. In fact, in Pike County alone, we're about 19% of our workforce comes from Pike County. And so basically we are the community, and we recognize that we have some responsibilities to the community and to this project, so we try to hold that that's very important to us. So with that, I think that's the last slide. And I believe I'll turn it back over to Jeff.
All right, thank you, Dennis. A lot of information certainly to cover. I want to introduce a few folks I didn't get a chance to introduce when we first got started here this evening. From Senator Rob Portman's office, we've got Todd Shelton. Todd's here again. We thank you for the senator's support. From Representative Brad Wenstrom's office, Casey, I believe Casey is with us tonight. Casey, thank you. Again, Representative Bill Johnson's office, we have Julie Stevens. Julie, again, thank you for coming out and joining us tonight. And from Treasurer Josh Mandel's office, we've got Lauren Bowen. Lauren, we appreciate you coming out tonight. Thank you very much. I know we have a lot of questions that you want to ask. We probably could have a 2-hour meeting just answering questions. But what I like to do is I want to be mindful of everyone's time. If we could have the folks that are working the stations go ahead and make your way again to the stations you were working. If anyone has some general questions for Dennis and Joel, why don't you come on up here, and that way people are free. You can move around, ask the questions about the specific topics you have. And like I said, we'll be here and answer all your questions as late as you want. So again, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you very much. And come on up if you've got some questions for Dennis and Joel or myself.
We're going to have a police cell in Pike County.